Welcome to the Mercedes Airbox. So inside of each one of these boxes is an air filter. I just took them out and cleaned them a little bit. So like I said, each intake then goes to the center of this and then goes to the throttle body. So my idea is that if I wrap these, I gotta clean them first. If I wrap these and maybe even this in gold foil, the engine will not heat it up, and maybe we'll get some cooler intake temps. They really weren't that bad. I suppose at 100 degrees, 120 in the desert, they would be much higher, of course, but I really was surprised at how low they actually were. So let me get this thing cleaned up. Let me get it foil wrapped. Obviously this is upside down, just so you don't, for people who don't know, this is upside down. It actually flips over and sits down like that. And then these two intake tubes from the front of the grill come into these air boxes. So genius design if you ask me, but let's do this. And like that, it's done. Now I'm gonna say this, the stuff that I bought doesn't stick all that good. I cleaned this with brake cleaner, and as you can see, I hope this stuff doesn't come loose and start a fire on my car, and I end up regretting it. But it is what it is. You know what? I gotta punch a hole in this one right here. Just looked at it and saw it. Yeah, like even the sides, just not. They're not sticking very good. There's a hole right here for drained water, and I covered it up. I gotta cut this hole out here real quick here. Make sure it drains in case I get some water in there. Because if it doesn't, it will not be good. Yeah, like I said, it just doesn't. I cleaned this thing pretty good with brake cleaner, and it did not clean up that well. So all right, so let's flip this thing over. And like I said, I did this as fast as I possibly could to try and keep the temperatures the same. Boy, this engine is dirty. It's dusty. I don't know, probably should have cleaned it, huh? Let's see. There, that's clipped. That's clipped. That's now clipped. And then this thing goes right here. Come on, come on. I usually put grease on some of these fittings to make them slide in, but I usually don't have to do this one. But it's being stubborn. Okay, so that's on. Now we're gonna put the engine cover on. Everything's back to the way it was. All right, so with the exception of cleaning the air filter, which is the only thing I did different, I've got the foil on there now. So let's go. Did I close it all the way? Let's go take it for a drive. I got warmer air intake temps now that I did that than I did before. And I don't believe I have a leak or anything. I don't believe I have a leak. I may want to check that though. But I've literally got 89 degrees now, and I had 86 before, and I've got 79 degrees on the temp. According to Mercedes-Benz temp sensor anyway, I've got 89.6. So what happened? I've literally got warmer temps now than I did before. So what changed? I gotta pull the airbox off. I got 91 now. Okay, so what changed? It's the same exact drive. I mean, I'm on the exact same road. I've got probably 4 or 5 degrees warmer, if not a lot more, than I did before. There's 91. I never had 91 before. I had 86. So yes, the car had a little bit of heat soak, but it did not have, I mean, I drove it, I got it out on the road there, I was doing 55 miles an hour. You think the air temp would cool it off. So now I've got 91, I had 86. What happened? What happened? All right, let's pop the hood. Let's pop the hood, turn the car off. Just makes no sense at all. It's crazy. And see, as soon as you turn it off, the temps spike. So that tells me that it's drawing in cold air from the outside, It's 98.6, it's 100. So that tells me that it's drawing in cold air from outside, or from outside the air into the engine compartment. It's 102 now, because they are not in here. So my intake air is drawn in from up top here. Okay, comes across here, goes into these boxes. You can see the boxes are connected. They're not loose. Let's pull this off again. Let's pull this off again. Make sure that there are no gaps between here and here. That's my concern. Because if there are, then you could easily have air being drawn in. And it connected here, right? Right? Yeah, I mean, it's down. There's no way this clip would go on there if it didn't. There's no way the clip would go on there. And it's not cold enough for the air to be pumped into here. It only does that when it's cold, it seems like. Oh, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay, let's flip this over. Let's see what's going on. So I think the air intake temp is probably, that's a MAF. I would guess it's in there somewhere because I've got nothing in the box. Okay, guess what I'm doing? I'm taking the entire thing that I put on here off to see if I can get a change. I'm just putting it over here for now. I have not loosened up the air box at all. I do want to take a look around the edges. I don't see any problems. I don't see anything that's changed. It looks to me like the air box is nice and tight. The air box is as tight as it's going to get. Okay, so I did Google. The air intake temperature is in this elbow that goes to the throttle body. So doing this to the air box would definitely make a difference if it actually worked. Keyword if. Okay, so oh yeah, this is always sometimes the struggle is to get this thing to sit down on its perch. There we go. Yep, everything's good there. I know what somebody's gonna say. Somebody's gonna say, well, you must have screwed up the elbow where it connects to the throttle body. Nope, I did not. Everything there is just fine. Everything there is just fine. I have not changed anything of any significance that, come on. This thing probably should have gotten greased. This little pipe for the air pump. A lot of people forget this when they take these off, but I didn't. And yes, that's on there tight. Look, the arrows match. Okay, they always were. Okay, so let's go for yet another drive. I think the keys are in it. Look, air intakes are in place. Okay, they don't go any further than that. They're still connected to this. Nothing has changed there. Okay, the pipe you saw it connect, this is on. Okay, it's down on. You saw it just like I did. Okay, let's go for another drive and let's see what the intake temps say. Look, if you're confused, I am too. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. So we're gonna drive the car the same distance, and we're gonna monitor the temps, but we'll get on the road where it's 55 miles an hour so we get clean, fresh air in the car, and we'll make sure. Whoops, just smacked you on the headliner here. I gotta kind of look through the mirrors so I don't back over my own little. I gotta put 2x4s in my driveway. You see them right there? I gotta put 2x4s in my driveway because people keep parking in my driveway. Thanks to the next door neighbors. Okay, so right now we're at 104 degrees. I gotta make sure this squirrel doesn't jump out in front of me. I don't want to be an asshole like all the other people that just drive with their fucking phone in their face and run over shit. Okay, so 102. Obviously we've got some heat soak going on. We're gonna get going here. The only thing I can say is last time, the first drive, I must have not had enough heat in the motor. I drove it, I let it warm up, I drove it the same distance, and then I only started filming on the way back, which is pretty much what I wanted to do here, but I wanted you to see that this is what I'm doing. And the only thing that makes, but the car was up to temp. But look at, okay, so I'm gonna stop filming right now until I'll start filming on the way back after we come off the road that is 55 miles an hour to get the fresh air in and to give the car the same distance drive as I did before. As long as this guy doesn't crash into me here. Okay, I'm gonna shut it